help the children in terms of the process. And that could be about positioning, it could be about a tactical decision, it could be about breathing, it could be a technical thing, whatever, but it's in there. Somewhere it's in there. You should always have it. And then the other side is you got the outcome. What are the kids trying to achieve? Individually, paired, as a team, or whatever. So the outcome goals are always important and they should always be there. And the more you can create or be creative in your outcome goals, the more fun it is for the kids, because some of them like little routines, but a lot of times they like changes as well. Develop players know facets of the game. That's a pretty simple statement for us to make, but it's true. In our programs, we should look at the 5 play situations. Even if I'm doing a red ball introductory class with 6 and 7-year-olds, maybe not every class, depending on the length of the class, but I got to make sure that I look at things where both players are back, one player is serving, one player is returning, and on the red court we don't do much in the way of approaching because of the shape and size and the capabilities of the red players, but we still introduce. I mean, I don't wait till they go to the orange court before I introduce the concept of playing at the net and what do you do when your opponent's at the net. So it's introduced at that level. So we should try to look at, even though the emphasis is on the first 3, we would look at the other 2 a little bit as well. But we want to make sure in an effective practice we cover a lot of the game of tennis. And the last point is maybe the most important, is that we demonstrate concern and interest in the child or in the children for their development. And that comes in different ways. It comes from an eye contact, it comes from a visual expression, it comes from comfort, it comes from attention, just making sure that we reach out to the child. All of those things contribute. So if you're going to run an effective practice, those are some of the things. And there's more to it. I mean, I just stopped at 5. There's more to it. So if you don't want to work, don't teach 10 and unders. I shouldn't call it work. If you don't want to be engaged, don't teach 10 and unders. If you want a wonderful opportunity to be super engaged with kids, then that's the place to be. It's absolutely the most exciting part of teaching. For an old guy that's kind of taught all kinds of things at different levels, this is really where we want to be. Okay, so let's stop for a second. Let's just do some back and forth. Any questions or observations or thoughts? Some of you, I wouldn't mind at all if you permitted me the opportunity to learn. So you can add things that I'll steal and use in my next presentation. But if you've got any thoughts on this whole aspect before we get into actually doing some activities. Anybody have any thoughts or any comments, questions? Hey, Noah, what have you got for us? Noah, that's a really good question. He knows that we have different size courts and space and that, so he wants to know if in my teaching, I'm actually going to be doing activities over the red net or over the orange net or whatever. We're going to do a little bit of all. We promise we'll do a little bit of all. Okay. Yes. Yay. Yeah. The question is, am I okay with teaching 10 and unders with other balls as well? Absolutely. And again, I experiment. I use the kids as guinea pigs all the time, but I also found out that nothing is ever perfect and doesn't need to be perfect in some ways. But the idea of different balls, here's what happened. Like in the program that I run, it's a junior excellence program, so I teach and I work with entry-level players, but I also work with some of the kids that are pretty experienced. But in that group, the junior excellence, I have the youngest, the boy just turned 8 last week, 2 weeks ago, and I got a couple of 8-year-olds, 9, 10, 11, and we go up to 12, 13, I guess is the oldest. And so we do orange, green, and yellow, and we mix it up. Sometimes I'll have 3 courts, and it'll be up the river, down the river. So here's Fisher and Dylan, the 8-year-olds, they start on the orange court, and they love it when they get up to the yellow court. And they're maybe there for a couple minutes, whatever, but just that idea of, doing things, because they experience a different thing. Now, it's kind of like my shoes here. I got a bunch of grandkids, okay? But number 12 coming on the way. So I got 3 little girls that are down from British Columbia right now with us, twin 4-year-olds and a 7-year-old. And it's kind of cute to see what they do. They went into Grandma's closet, and there was my wife had an interesting pair of shoes, and Ruby, the 7-year-old, puts his shoes on. She comes out walking with Grandma's shoes on. Now, was that a bad thing that she was wearing shoes that weren't her size? No. If she was to do it all the time, it would limit a lot of things about her development. But that she tries it once in a while. So that's my attitude to the balls, is don't make a big deal of it. What I like about now in our program, with the exception of Davis yesterday, here's what Davis did, okay? And because you got to think about the way the kids think. So I'm playing a competition. One court is yellow ball. No, excuse me. One court is green ball. Yeah, and one court's yellow ball. And if you lose the point on the yellow court, you went to the green. If you lose on the green as a challenger, you go to the yellow. So they're going back and forth between the courts and the champion. So what Davis would do, because he wanted to be on yellow, he would intentionally, when he came to the green court, he'd intentionally miss, so he'd have to go and challenge on the other court. So it took about 2 times, and I noticed that. So I said, Davis, come on over here. And he comes over. I think he knew what I was going to call him on. And I said, Davis, I know what you're doing. And do you want to tell me what you're doing? And he looked at me and he says, put his head down again. He said, Coach, I was intentionally losing on the green court. I said, I know that. That's why I called you over. And then I said to him, I said, why did you do that? He says, because I'm playing in the Vandermeer Level 2 tournament. It's a yellow ball tournament in the 12s this weekend, and I want to hit with the yellow ball. And I said, Davis, thank you. I know that's exactly what you were doing. But the few moments that you come over, the few minutes you play with the green ball, it's not going to hurt you at all. It's not like it's going to hurt you. And wouldn't it be better for the other kids if, you know, you kind of pitched in and did your shit? So here's a situation where the child had certain feelings, and it helped that I allowed him to express. He was honest with me, and I was honest with him, and we left on pretty good terms the idea we went back into the activity. If I had just, you know, scolded him for it, then it'd been a little bit of trouble. So we've got to understand the different balls, you know, have different uses, and it's not a bad thing to mix them. Okay, just don't. If the child is 6 years old and should be on the red ball, make sure that he's doing 80% red and not 80% orange or green or something. That's the only thing I'd suggest. Okay, the other question, sorry? Yeah. How many students? Yeah. Question was, you know, there's the idea of recruiting parents to help out or others to help out, but how many students on the court? If you follow the principles of this engagement and the children learn how to work together cooperatively, I kid you not, one of our coaches, Joe Kai, she'll handle 12 on the permanent 36-foot court. She'll be by herself sometimes, have 12 kids, and any parent that comes just loves seeing what's going on. Because the kids are so engaged, they're so active because they've learned to cooperate. They're following the principles of the program, okay? So they live many experiences, they work together, they have outcome goals, they achieve, they progress, they do different things. So the real secret of it is getting the kids to work together. And that sounds easy, but it's tough. When you start out, if you've got a new program and you've got like 8 kids that come into the program, it's very, very difficult at first until you really develop that concept of the child can be the partner of the hitter. There's a receiving side to it. There's a reception side and a projection side. And so if you really teach well the reception side, then that child is engaged and active and willing to be a good partner. So there's a lot about it. But that's the secret to larger numbers and working with larger numbers. I'm a former PE teacher. That's where I started. So I always had a lot of kids. So the more the merrier to me. But some coaches have a bit of a challenge when they deal with numbers and all. But they learn. They progress and they learn. You'll find that in your programs, if you do that, it'll work famously for you. Okay? Anything else? Okay, so if you go down on the sheet a little bit further, you'll see that, and these aren't necessarily in the order, some of them are natural, but I will sometimes have a movement and athletic development activity that occurs later in the practice just because it's the right time to do it. So this isn't specifically an order, and sometimes I'll throw a large group game in earlier in the practice because it's the right thing to do at that time. So I didn't really put like an outline, but this is, every practice that I run, this is what happens. I do movement and athletic development. I always do skill development and skill maintenance, where this is a lot of live ball cooperative things that the kids are doing, but there's always outcome goals, and we try to do all kinds of different activities so that their skills are developing in the activities. Then of course the concept of the cooperative competitive is, that's really the side that we go. We want to take them from cooperating to competing. Because, you know, Kurt talked about that this morning as well. Through our programs, the programs, if we incorporate, it makes it much easier for them when they go to play days and they go to different events and that. They really get a sense of the competitive side of it. But we build it in slowly and progressively. Of course, you know, the serve and the return to serve, and I highlighted it. I always do special serving exercise. One thing I'm proud of the kids in our programs generally end up, as they grow and age up in that, they end up pretty good, they serve pretty well. They have, you know, pretty good abilities in the serve. So I always try to isolate and make sure that we do something that's specific to their development there. Of course, situational play, because the game is a tactical game before it's a technical game, because we know that what they're trying to achieve is more important than how they do it. So first is the what, followed by the how, and the technique follows, is driven by the tactics. So situational play is the way we can create the tactical understanding of the game. So we always tie that in. Again, it doesn't just happen late in the practice. If you were to follow this, you say, oh my God, that's late in the practice. It can occur basically in one of the first games after the athletic development exercise. I can be doing things that are situational, okay? And then the value of the large group games, that's our play days kind of stuff, and that's very social, it's intense, it's really moving, the kids compete, it's like high energy. So I know you all do that in your own programs, but I just want to highlight it a little bit, okay? As we go into trying to present some things on court, I will need assistance. I'll need somebody to come out and pitch in and help out. So okay, what I'll try to do, based on the limitations of time, I will try to show some activities that could be done at a red level, introductory, a red level more advanced, an orange level, a green level, or yellow level. All we have to do is change the focus of the activity. It can be pretty much the same activity. So I'll try to show some of those adaptations as we go along, okay? So need some volunteers. I doubt that no one wants to come out, but anyway, any volunteers come on out on the court? I don't know. Seriously, I don't want any more than 24 people. Okay, but at least a half a dozen. Come on out. Come out and do a little bit with us. Go. I'm going to strip down myself, Emma. That's a good idea. Now, you understand I'm working for a large group of coaches, so I have to do things a little bit differently than I would do in my regular go. I guess I could videotape a lesson and then send it to y'all, and then you can see what I do in natural life. But what I'll try to do is make the points, but at the same time have some fun with them, okay? Hey, everybody. So, we don't need a racket right now. Put your racket down. Okay, everybody stand on your left foot and shake a leg. Okay, now stand on your right and shake the other leg. Okay, now stand on both and shake your hands. Now make your feet move and shake your hands. Okay. So keep moving, don't stop. So what we're going to do, this is a little game called run around. So we're going to run around, but every time that the coach says sprinkles, you have to square up to the net. Looks like this. Boom. Okay? So run around anyway. Go. Keep your hands going. Keep the hands around. Sprinkles! Again. Run around. And sprinkles. Okay, very good. Relax. So from a standpoint, that would be a red entry kind of level where, I mean, that sprinkle scheme from Joe Toddy, I don't know, better than the words I have. So at a higher level, in terms of that movement, if I have my students and I say, everybody, can you do this? then on her own, because she's got it, then she can pick up the tempo, integrate her back into the program. Okay, so very simple activity, but you can bring it through different levels. How might I do that in terms of even higher speed? So here's what I'm going to ask you to do. As fast as you can, but you got to do 6 split steps before you get to the net. Everybody wants to be fine. So let's say they were kids, and somewhere in the whole program of the athletic development, I want them, they've got to do 6 split steps, but I'm going to look for balance. So, but you got to get to the net as quick as you can. Go. Now, what's cool about that is all of you saw, they challenged themselves, okay? They spent some challenge that weren't that successful. But I will always give somebody who pushes themselves to the limit a little high five. Way to go, hang on. It looked terrible, but it was great. Okay, so we have to come up with activities. How many of you do lions and zebras? How many play that game? Wait, lions and zebras are cool game, okay? And so for the red level players, let's say I had 6 kids. Control the environment a little bit, and I might have 1 lion and 5 zebras, okay? But the thing is, it starts with a spinning lion, okay? So, no, you want to be a lion? Okay, and the 5 of you will be the zebra. Come right here. Go and center in your kids. Okay, now here's what the lion has. He has to go and touch the zebra. Okay? You're limited in the space of the service box. You step outside the service boxes,
SP.
you gotta avoid the lion.
Put it on SP.
Now, we can have a spinning line, okay? So the way it goes, you gotta go into the line, you can do one of those big things. Okay, we'll start with a spinning line. You ready? This is the dizzy line. Go, go. Keep going, go. Hey, go get him, go. Right up. Now you can run. Let's go around tight. You don't have to spin anymore. Go. She's down in the box, so she's dead anyway. Go. Show them, go. Go, one more. Oh, the big one. The big one. Now, what can we teach them that? So let's say we started out, instead of doing lions and zebras.
It's hard, but it's not the same menu that you want. That's the... What priority do you want?
Now, what you're going to try to do is you're going to try to tag the 80s. Let me tag you. We've all got the slap the knees game, and what's going to happen is I got to try to tag you without you tagging me. Okay, right? Yeah, we've got some music. Yeah, we'll move.
And then the other buttons, the C3, C1, C2, C3,
it's fantastic. You don't have to thank each other. The idea is that we're both in very athletic stances. We were in a kind of a position which was quick with our feet. So we talk about the environment for us. I didn't do anything. I didn't teach. She was obviously fantastic. So she got down, crouching tiger, she was ready to go. So fire yourself up and you're good to go. Ready to go.
Right there. But there was nothing later.
Try to take it. Try to take it. That is a lead up to lions and zebras. Because when they're playing, when they're moving, you want them to be, I don't want the kids running around like this. Okay? I want them to move like they're trying to outfox and they're moving like that. It's real athletic stuff. So, the first version is like a red level. With my orange, green, and yellow players, what I do is I make up 2 teams. Okay, so quickly, Mary, we need one more person. We need one more person. We're 9 out here. Come on. Anybody go? Very good. Thanks. Okay, everybody come on over, please.
It's on the ball.
Let's have
This there. This one.
make up 15 minutes. Go quick. Make up 15 minutes. Okay, this is.
Where's the
Okay, normally, leave the net there, but normally I do it on the two sides of the net. So basically it's line and zebra defender. I'll play the game defender. So what will happen is get your order 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then you're going to go. Get your order 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then who's going to do that? So when team goes to the number 1, okay, you'll come over and you're going to have a chicken zebras over there. They'll send the line over to chicken zebras over there. Now, your space is backward. You know the space is identical, but I'm not going to move the net. Normally I would do this where I know, of course, we're going to be net there, and I do it on the same side. I just want to show you what it looks like. So, your team, this is number 1 on it, you need the line in there. Okay? So line over there, who's number 1? Yes. On here, okay. I need on the north sideline right here, both line, and zebras get on there.
Pat, turn it back on.
Pat,
He's
turn it
using
on.
it, turn it back on.
Anyway, I'm only going to do 1 rotation, but you see me do it 5 times. So a heck of a game. High energy by the kids, and a lot of athletic movement on it. So it fits into that phase of play pretty well. Okay, let me see. Now it's working. Okay. So the next thing is the concept of stations. Okay. So in the athletic development side, do quite a bit of station work. So let's say that I've got 10 kids out here. So we'll make, I'll make up 4 stations very well. Normally I have equipment with me out here. I'm a little limited. I've got cones, so I can use those. Okay. So one of the stations, everybody, one of the stations will be, you'll have to, if I can get these working. I don't like the disc cone so much for that, but one of the stations will simply be little steps over the cones and back, okay? That'll be one of our stations, okay? Another station will be from the, in the service line where we have to turn and touch outside with our hand and move to the other side. So we're actually crossing the midline of the body from right to left. Another station will simply be forward and backward jumps over a line. So we're just going forward and back, okay, over a line. That'll be one of the stations. And the last station will be a little bit of sprint work and recovery. So from the center mark, I got to move quickly to the side in an open stance. So it'll be my left foot will be out, and then the same thing on that side with the right foot. So I run over and sprint, push off of this foot, cross over, recovery, back, sprint, push off this foot, cross over, back. Then sprint, splitting in the middle. Those are the 4 stations. You kind of got it? Okay, so here's what happens. I did have it somewhere. Are you ready? Yeah, so I tend to use, like guys, what I'm going to ask you to do is do 6 of each activity, okay? If you pick a club, this is the activity you do. Okay, while I'm talking to you, somebody put about 2 or 3 more stations of cones there. Let me go. So if you pick a club, you do the cone. If you pick a spade, you touch, cross over the midline of the body, touch with the right hand, touch with the left hand. Okay, if you pick a diamond, you're doing the forward and backward jumps. If you pick a heart, you're doing the baseline, straight open stance and recovery. Good job, very well done. Maybe a little closer together the cones for the smaller feet. So on this, all we're asking to have happen is they would come and they'd pick a card. Now the cards can be distributed on the ground, okay? They can be, the coach will have them. You can put them in different places. And I use playing cards for a lot of things. I think Kirk Stafford will show other uses for it, but I use them for the station training. And because I picked the wrong deck of cards, these are all my high cards, I changed. So what I'm going to ask everybody to do, how many times do you have to do the activity when you pick a card? 6. Yeah, you do it 6 times, then you come and get another card. Your goal is to get the most number of cards possible in the time that we have. Okay, are we ready? Now, the reason, even though I demonstrated or explained it before, the reason I would have the kids go and demonstrate is, again, to reaffirm that everybody understands what's going on. Because once you start the activity, it's bad to say you're going to have to stop it. But guess what? It's a shaping process. If this is the first time they ever did it, I don't care. It's a terrible thing to say. I'm going to prove it, but I'm not going to spend extra time to make it perfect today. Because I may do it again next week or the week after, and it'll just keep getting better. Are we all ready? Put both hands on your head. Stand on one leg. Close your right eye. Go pick up the card. Go. Get the most cards you can. Go do the activity. Go. But one card at a time. One card at a time. What is it? Right, you're back there. Run. Go. Diamond, step, and hold the line. Go. Okay, start the middle here now. Okay, let's go this way. Go. Drop it. Come back like this one. Split. Now let's go this way. Go. Like that. Go. Go to the other side. Go. Let's go now. Go. You don't have to actually cut it. Let's go. Because I found out who had the most, and I just added some on, and I said, if you didn't get that. So yeah, they're achieving, they're working to get the most they can, but I'm not going to honor the kid that got the most. And sometimes, in fact, what I'll do is I'll reverse it. Who had the most? Unbelievable, unbelievable. Everybody do one jump. Except, now because you won, you get the chance to do 5 jumps. Go, 5 jumps. So what I'll do is I'll honor the person who won by allowing them to get more fit, so they can do 5 more jumps, okay? You got it? Thanks, everybody put the cards together. Let's go on to the next thing. Okay, can everybody get a racket? Do we have rackets around anywhere? Little rackets, big rackets, whatever? Racket. Anybody have an extra racket around that we can borrow? Anybody go? Yeah, right there. Perfect size. Oh. Okay, can you still hear me, everybody? Yeah? Okay, now, everybody take a red ball. Doesn't matter if it's foam or felt or whatever, just get a ball. Quick. Now, I just made a mistake. I gave him a ball without demonstrating the activity first. So I wouldn't normally do that. That's a very rookie mistake because I want to quickly demonstrate. So then different ways. I want to find a way that they have something that approximates an alligator stun grip or a continental grip, okay? So I say everybody just with the edge of your racket, pretend you're going to attack with the edge of your racket. Okay, puss is thumb in French. Everybody go puss. Say that, puss. Over here, this side is jointure. Turn it over to your knuckles, jointure. Say jointure. Okay, puss, jointure. Okay, run your feet, get your feet going. Okay, so spread out, everybody try to do this, go. So you've all done it, okay? It's unbelievable how much time you spend on that. But if they don't have a grip that approximates continental stun grip, it's wasted. So if I do this, okay, or I change and I don't have the grip, then it affects what the future of my tennis development with them. Okay, so now if they are introductory level players, okay, red players that are just starting out, then maybe what I'm going to be happy with is they do it like this. So if they can do this and it bounces, and then they do that to the other side and it bounces, I'm okay with that. Because all I have to do is set an outcome goal. They're doing the same activity. They're going from their thumb to their knuckle. They're doing the same activity, but they're doing it at a slower speed, at a speed they can control. So everybody, let's do it at a very, very talented level. Okay, very talented level. So in the talented level, they're going to be able to, in 20 seconds, how many times are you going to be able to touch the ball in 20 seconds? Okay, there's a world record for 10 and unders. It's a girl out of Chicago that has the world record. We'll see if anybody here can touch the world record for 10 and unders. So I'll get up my timing device here, and I'll make sure that I'm fair with the time. Okay, so you have to count out loud, but please, this is a trust. This is a trust. So are we ready? Count out loud. How many are you doing in 20 seconds? Ready, go. Stop. Okay, so what happened to them? What happened? You saw them before when I demonstrated the activity and they were doing the activity. What happened when I gave them that challenge of the 10 and under world record in 20 seconds? What happened? Yeah, Carmen says they focused. Like the attention to the activity went up like through the roof, okay? So I started out with a little bit of the process, the thumb side, the knuckle side, something that approximated continental grip. So we did all that. But if I just, in my class, if I just have them do that, it has no value. There's so much, when you talk about deliberate practice, you talk about purposeful practice, you got to have achievement things where they're trying to achieve certain things. Let's see if anybody got close or exceeded the record, okay? Her name is Belen and she did 54 in 20 seconds. Anybody have more than 54? 53, pretty close, okay. So, isn't it kind of cool? So, the kids take it to heart. They're pretty serious about what they do with that. Okay. So, when I look at the skill side, maybe once every 2-3 weeks I might pull that out and they have their own scores that they try to exceed. And the first time they do it, watch what I do. Okay, so we're not going to do it, but I'll let them go again. Now all of you, with the exception of maybe one, exceeded the score the second time. So they did it a second time and they exceeded the score. You guys are unbelievable. How did that happen? You had 53 last time. This time you beat the record. You got a new world record for the 10 and under. So I get all excited about it. What did I do?
Gave him more time.
Right, Todd. I gave him 22 seconds the second time. They don't know that. All I want to do is not cheating or being deceitful or anything to the child. It's really getting them fired up about achievement. And probably in the second trial, probably half of them would have improved anyway. But I kind of helped it along just a little bit. So that's okay. All right, team, come on over. Let's look at another activity here. Okay. How can we take, in the skill maintenance, skill development, how can we take a simple activity and turn it into something that has a lot of purpose to it, okay? So, I like working in this plane better, so maybe what we'll do is, a couple of you go to the other side and let's take the red net out of the way. Can we do that? Pull it off, back over the side. Everybody else, we can do this all, seeing that you're out here, might as well all participate in it. Okay, so, let's say in terms of process, I'm working on a forward extension of a stroke. Okay, in the back of my mind as a coach, I want my students to extend through the stroke a little bit. Okay, so the manner in which I do that is if I give them a corridor, a more narrow thing called the line, and they try to hit the line, then the chances of my racket extending through are greater if I give myself a line. So what I do is I make very small spaces. Okay, and if we're 10 on the court, I'd probably have 2 players working here. I'll use this line because that line's kind of taken. 2 players on this line, 2 players on this line, 2 players on this line, 2 players on an imaginary line here, and 2 players over maybe on the double side line. So with my partner, okay, here's what we do. We're trying to achieve, but we're going to do grade school, okay? So it's going to be the first pair to get to grade 6, okay? Well, what happens when I start the ball, I'll do it with my left hand. When I start the ball, that will count as 1. So just trap it or stop the ball when we go. So I send the ball to my partner and she stops it. That's 1. Now, that's grade 1. We're out of kindergarten, we're grade 1. That's fantastic. To get to grade 2, the ball's got to go back and forth now. So it comes over, there's 1, and I got to hit it back, there's 2. So yay, we're in grade 2. So now we got to go for grade 3. But each time after each grade, there's grade 2, and there's grade 3. Okay, so now we know the activity. So what are the kind of things that, in French we say exige or exige? What are the things that we're looking to have happen? I really don't want the kids just to hit and do that, okay? What I'd like them to do is each time to recover into, we call this Memphis. This is our term for the ready position, Memphis. And then to move from Memphis, to move around the ball or whatever they have to do to be successful, okay? But each time they got to come back to Memphis, and they've got to recover. So ideally, what I'd do is I'd have a target within the area in terms of distance, and then I'd have a baseline or where I want them to do, because if I hit the ball too far, it's out, so we don't get to 3. It's not just hitting it in the net or hitting it on the frame and going to the side. If I don't make the ball land in the area that I'm trying to work with, then I fail. So we've got to make sure that we define all that. If you can help me, just be creative, because to set it up for 10 people would take too long. But I'm going to ask everybody to make sure that you do your Memphis recovery, you move to your ball, you hit, and you move back. Respect the distances of the service line. So I always have process-related material, but the outcome is what drives the thing, okay? So grab yourself a partner and put a line in here, line here, line here, line there. Go, come on, you guys. And I do that with the kids. I say grab a partner because guess what? I rotate like crazy, so they never stay with that partner long anyway, just to get them going. Okay, Emma, can we have you guys move over this way a bit? Now, no, you're going to try to hit it right on that line. Okay, your goal, everybody, is we're trying to extend. Okay, time out, time out. Now, this is the most unexciting environment that you could ever see. And it's the coach's fault, okay? So everybody, you're going to get fired up. You have to count. You're all in kindergarten. If you hit it over once, your partner stops the ball and you're in grade 1. But when you're in grade 1, you celebrate with your partner. Okay, grade 1. Then it's got to go back and forth twice. Celebrate grade 2. Go. The first pair to get to grade 6. How are we ready? Go. Now back behind the line each time. 1, 2, put it back over. No, you don't stop it. You go 3, then do 4, and then 5, and then 6. Yeah, we got it. So. Okay. That's 4. Okay, we'll go for grade 5. Come on. Okay, so stop. Time out. Well done, everybody. Stop. Okay. That's unbelievable. Now, I'm going to ask the audience. Don't you agree that when they added those elements to it, that's the party? The party is the concept of and the engagement and all of that. They'll learn through the activity if I control the activity. I wasn't controlling activity very well based on the scenario here, but I've got to control the activity because it's not purposeful. If I allow the kids to do this and they hit like this, then I mean, it's going back and forth, and we can say that's okay, but I have a responsibility to teach. I got to teach Butch. When the ball comes to you, move around the ball so you're leaning more at the side. Or a better way to do it is say, Butch, you think I'm better to hit like this or to be like this? Which is better, Butch? So the child will give the right response 90% of the time. So that way it's better than me telling them for them to solve their own solution, guys, solve their own problem. Okay, now, so what happens, Noah is the king, so Noah doesn't move, okay? So over 2 courts, let's say I had 10 people, Noah stays there, everybody else move 1 spot to your right, go. Move 1 spot to your right. Stop. Whoa, don't move, come back here. What did we forget? This is really important. You must go up to your partner, shake hands with them at the net, go to your partner, say thank you for being my partner, that was wonderful. Okay, now we rotate, go. Now you rotate, go. So now you all got a new partner, right? Everybody's got a new partner? Okay, come on up to the net for a second. Come on up quickly, with your new partner, smile at your new partner. Isn't that amazing? It's so good that you guys figured out who you're with. That's wonderful. Okay, so to the crowd. Think of all the things, okay? When in Chicago, when I had 14 kids, we did 13 different exercises in 25 minutes where everybody had a chance to play with everybody else. So everybody played with everybody else, but we did 13. It took 13 rotations to have everybody play together, so we did 13 different activities. Sometimes we do the same activity twice, just to do the same activity with a partner, okay? So let's do a different activity, okay? Let's look at a simple activity like where we both have to approach and we both have to make a volley, okay? So to score a point. And what will happen, we got lots of balls here. We'll ask you to build a pyramid, okay? So it's going to be 4 successes. Noah, demonstrate with me, okay? Okay, go back there. You know how to volley, Noah? Okay, so Noah, both you and I, you're going to hit the ball. No, stay there. But you got to come into the net after, okay? Stay there for 1. Okay, so I approach. Noah approaches. Come on in. Come on in, Noah. Okay, back again. We're good. See, we got the 3, so we don't get a point. Go again, Noah. Go. 1, 2, come on in. 3, 4. We did it. We did it. Okay, so I take the ball and I start to build a pyramid. So how many balls does it take to build a pyramid? 4. Okay, 3 on the base, 1 sitting on top. So the outcome objective is which pair is the first to build their pyramid. So that's the story behind it. Give it a try with your new partner. Go. Give it a try. We'll give enough balls here. We'll give enough balls, so go. So you got to do approach, and 2 volleys. Approach, and 2 volleys. Go. Move in for 1, for 2. Man, you guys. Okay, and I'll actually do that with the kids. I'll intervene when one parent's taking off and controlling the situation. I'll take it away from them. Okay, well done. Time out. Stop, everybody. Okay, so I didn't make a big deal about earlier the concept of the extension, having a space, a line or something where we're trying to do that. But one of the things with the kids that I do a lot, so let's say I'm back on the red ball. The kids can rally on the red ball. They've got basic stroke. They've got a simple little forehand grip, simple little backhand grip, and they can rally. But I want to accelerate. I want them to learn an accelerated racket. Then I have to do learning activities that allow them to do that. So for instance, if I was teaching top spin, and some of you have seen me do this before, so with my partner, ready partner? I'm sorry, I've forgotten your name again. Courtney. Courtney, you're just going to stop the ball. Now, in the USD program, we do a lot of trapping, but what I found through experimentation, rather than trap, I do a bump and then a trap. So Courtney, can you hit a ball to me? Just hit one over that bounces. This is what I mean. So the ball comes to my forehand, I'd much rather do this, center, and then trap. I found by doing that, the kids that go to trap when the ball's coming, there's a lot of missed catches and they trap it back here instead of in front where they should. If I stabilize the racket and do a bump and then a trap, I get a little bit more success with it. So Courtney, can you try that? So just bump it and then trap it. Watch, I hit it to her forehand. She bumps it, and let it bounce on the ground. Right, send it to me. So here's what I mean. Yeah, so watch, I do this, and then I can trap and control it. It leads into what we call the juggle rally, where you bump it and then you send it back right away. So that's how I want you to stop it, okay? So I'll allow her to use her forehand for right now. She's a lefty. But if I want the kids to learn spin, I go from static to dynamic. So right now I'm not moving, I'm just standing. I drop the ball and I want them to learn what I call a rainbow motion. But how they pick up the racket now, they're moving their hand to a semi-western grip. So I don't teach them a semi-western grip. I just say, everybody put your racket down and pick it up and match your grip. So that's what the grip that I'd like you to use. So I don't say anything about it, just have them do that. Okay, so this is what it would look like. So I do this action, and then I go over to the pot of gold over here. So I'm just doing a rainbow action and the pot of gold over to that side. So Courtney, watch what I do, you gotta do exactly the same thing. But when it comes, actually bump it and then trap it. Because how they receive the ball becomes important for the number of success, the number of experiences they'll have. So I do that, boom, and she bumps it, now she traps, and then she does the same. Do your rainbow. Right, I move my feet, I bump, and then I trap. Much easier way to do it. So let's say these are red level kids that can rally, and you're wanting to start to teach a little bit of rotation on the ball. That's not a forehand, okay? That's a learning activity. It's not a forehand, because eventually the forehand is going to look like this, and then go like that. So there's going to be other elements to it. So it's just a process of getting a feel on the ball that we would do with that activity. So, just for fun, everybody, do another rotation around Noah. Go. Shake hands first. Go. Yeah, with the old partners. Go. And then rotate. Thank you. Okay, now rotate. Now with your partner in front of you. Okay? Noah, you stay there, Noah. Yeah. Okay, Emma, do this with me. Watch. I'll show you a spot. So now, with this, again, think of this confined space. Think of a red court. It's easy to have 4 kids on a red court doing this activity together. They can be doing inside out. If I was doing it with Noah, I do the same activity. I'm just learning an inside out forehand. And that's fine, so we can be doing forehand. So it doesn't have to be, oh, you're on the ad side, so you do a backhand. Nonsense. So here we go. So Emma, we're going to do exactly what we just did there, okay? So I drop the ball. Oh, too bad. So sad, but I had another ball. Just by chance, I had another ball. She bumps it, she traps it, and then she sends it back. I do my Memphis. I move my feet, I bump it, I trap it, and then I send it back. Okay? So everybody, do that twice with your partner. Go. And then we'll tie in an outcome goal. Now, where's the pot of gold? Remember where the pot of gold is. Right, very good. Beautiful. And finish over the pot of gold. Over the pot of gold. That easy. Okay, you do it before. So give me a chance, I can go around individually, say a few words, question, do different things. Okay, time out, well done. Okay, so concept of progression, okay? How good does a child have to be to try something? How good do they have to be? Not good at all. So, Emma, you and I aren't very good, okay? But, Emma, we want to try it. So this time, Emma, instead of you bumping the ball, I want you to try to hit my shot back right away. Woo, yeah. So why not? What the heck? So she tries to do the same thing. I do the little spin, and she does the little spin, then I bump it. Guess what? If we're successful together like that, we just got a point, okay? Now, the point might mean putting a close spin on the net, so we got one, okay? Now, if I started every time, it's not going to be so good. So we got to, or we could say, until we've made it 3 times, I started, then Emma, you started, until we make it 3 times, to keep switching back and forth. That'd be okay too. Ideally, is like on the serve and return, we want to get to 3 experiences. But you can't do that. You can't jump from a drop feed to rallying 3 times. It won't work. I promise you, it won't work. I've tried it many times. The best we can do is get to 2. After 1, there's 2. After 2, there's 3. That's the concept of the progression. Okay? So now with your partner, here's what we'll do. Is each time that you are successful, you make the 2 shots, you and your partner are allowed to run back to the baseline, touch the baseline with your hand, and then come back again. That way, we know you got a point. Okay? When you're successful with the 2 shots, you go do it. Go. With your new partners. You're not allowed to run back if you miss. You got to make both shots to be able to run back. So again, making their minds work, making the students think about things, achievement things together, and they can remind each other, you got to go back, go touch the line, go, run. Okay, time out, time. Good stuff. Okay, so, in terms of the evolution of skill, okay, how many of you work on volleys? Okay, quickly, shake hands with your partner, rotate, go. How much time are you? Yeah. Okay, rotate, go. Okay, time out. So, the worst thing about volleys is the static aspect of volleys. I hate it, that players, because you never do that. Why would you practice something that you don't do when you play, okay? So we have to have transition and movement. So what we ask them to do now is, instead of doing the approach, from the service line they have to feed and play the ball out of the air. So now we'll use the magic number of 5, because then it switches to the other person. Okay, and then again, do it with me. Close in. We make 5 volleys. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Catch. Good. Now we go back and see. So now she gets to start the ball. As long as it's an uneven number, could be 3 at first with the little kids as they're learning. So this is a skill. Now, how can we do that if you're not very good? Emma, come on up. Put your racket down. This is how I started off. With my red ball players, they start like this. So we do an underhand toss again. I do a split. You notice each time I do a split, boom, boom, and then back, okay? So we still do, then it gets to where I've got a racket, Emma drops the ball, she's got to catch and toss to me. So we go. She goes in, I split, make a volley. Then we just switch around. See, so we can work together. Oh, the challenges, she's coming in. See, so all the time, there's dynamic activity to it. I won't show it, but watch, going across. Let's go from here to there and back, okay? Keep your right, my record. We'll pretend we did toss and catch it. So watch the same thing. I lead her, I make a move. I lead her, I make a move. Now, watch what my feet do. I'm going to shuffle, stay open, and when she leaves me, I'm going to turn to catch her. But the rest of the time, I'm going to stay open. So as we go. See, I had to come across, we'll catch, and then we go back. Because we're sharing the court with other players. We don't have to be over a net to do that. Could you two guys do it together right there? Could the two of you do it together right there? You do it with them over the net. Could you two guys do it together? Same thing. And can you do it back? You guys can do it over the net. I'm sorry. Yeah. Go. You guys do it. You got it. Yeah, do it over the net. Okay, one of you tossing. So you got to be far enough apart. You got to create distance. You got to be far enough. You got to move. Yeah, that's good. Go. You're moving side to side. Good. Yeah, that's good. Side to side. Okay, well done. Everybody, because of time, we can't do it longer. Come on in. Well done. So, again, I go back to moving this is better than standing still and making 20 shots. Okay, the idea of making 20 shots is no good. Okay, Fisher and I, we have a certificate on the wall, 194 consecutive volleys. We actually beat it, we're at 287 consecutive volleys. But this is the way Fisher got it. Okay, now I'm the old coach, so I don't move. So Emma, come and do it with me. So Emma, we're gonna make 288. We're gonna beat Fisher's record. You ready? Go, start the ball. Go watch. Everything, it's gotta be in the air. Now watch, I'm gonna make a move. I'm gonna make a move. So that's what I did with Fisher. See, I did with Fisher. I didn't give him the same ball all the time. It wasn't just back and forth. So promote with the kids this notion of dynamic activity. Okay? Make sense? We gotta fly here. Okay, a couple of serve exercises, okay? So we can do that with a partner, okay? One of the serve exercises, USDA has one with the palm down, and I do a lot of that with the kids, where they start from that, but I start with what's called a hippie. So when the palm is down, they push the hip like this, so the toss goes up, this shoulder's up, that shoulder's down, so it looks like this. So when they make the toss, and then from there, then I go into the hit. Now my partner has to receive the ball, so she traps it, and then she does the same thing back. So watch the hippie, boom, and I hit. She blocks and traps, comes back to me, I block and trap. Whoops, I thought I trapped. Okay, so that would be one exercise, okay? Another exercise that I like to use a lot is called the Sharapova pop. And in that position, I'll start from more of a closed face, but the palm is still down. And I want to have a pronation that occurs, but I don't say that to the kids. I want to get them to go over the top, and the best way to do that is with pop. So that's why I call it, there was a picture of Maria in Tennis Magazine about 7 years ago, and this is what it looked like. She was in this position when the photo was taken. She was in full extension like that. So with the kids, I asked them to try to do that. So it's just really a serving exercise, and then eventually, watch what happens. This position here gets combined with that action there for a more powerful experience. So, I mean, you're allowed to hit the ball a little harder, and I am too, but you still got to try to block it with your racket. See, the reception side is critical. I can bring all the kids on this side, and we'd all be serving over there, but this is fun because it'll be a bit of a challenge, maybe. She's awfully good, so maybe it won't be a challenge, okay? So I do my Sharapova pop. Sorry, partner. Let me say, somebody got a ball? I'll try one more time. I get another try. Okay. And she stops it. Right. Then she does the same back to me. Ah. Yeah. Come on, a little applause. Come on. Hey, you see that again? Okay, the idea of we are challenging each other, but the reception side, the receiver, is getting as much value as the server. So we do something like that. Another exercise that I do with the kids is I have them partner up and toss for each other, okay? Come on, here we go. Do your service plate. Go. Over there, over the net. Okay, so when you go, I'm going to toss. Ready, go. Right, so this is a crazy thing. But when you take away that responsibility of that left arm, it's pretty cool. Then I add, you have to toss your ball, but hit mine. Ready, go. Very cool. Now you got to toss your ball and hit yours. Okay, ready, go. Okay, I don't even do it. It's just like a fake. But if you have any of the kids struggling with the two hands, that's an awfully good way to do it. Okay. So it kind of takes away the responsibility, feel the confidence of that rhythm. So I do. There's probably 12, 15 different serving exercises. So the kids, no matter how good they are, they spend at least 5 minutes serving from inside the half court. They do it. It may be an exercise where they're trying to bounce the ball over the fence, or bounce the ball into the fence, or bounce the ball past the baseline. They're trying to accelerate. It may be where they're just doing hippies, where they go and they finish in a palm down position, but they're loaded, their hips are forward, and they're into a position of attack of the ball. That starts early. They can't use it. They don't have leg strength, but they've developed the rhythm. So the kids that get that when they're 7, 8 years old, 9 years old, they just carry it with them. They look pretty stylish. They just don't have any drive in the legs because you can't have drive in the legs when you don't have it. So that's the way we look at that. Okay, so there's a lot. So the serve should be covered all the time, all kinds of different activities. Just I'll throw this in. What do you do with the kid that serves with a semi-western grip or with a grip that you don't like? How do you correct that? See, the serve exercise is corrected. So, come on up, partner. So, partner, serve with a frying pan grip. Go. Do your whole motion. I'll do your whole motion. So, has anybody ever seen that kind of a serve? We see it all the time, right? Where they're going like that. So now I say to the kids, I say, look, when you start out this time with your frying pan grip, you have to hit the ball with the other side of your racket. Use your frying pan grip. Okay, go. Serve and hit with. Okay, pretty tough. Now, put your grip like this. Okay, now, serve and hit it with the wrong side of the grip. Go. See, so what happens is, I'll have the kids do that, and then I'll say, at the last minute, fake like it's the back side, and then turn and hit it with the good side. Fake it. But how do you do grip? Yeah, fake it, and then turn. Right. So he fakes it and turns. Good thing you didn't hit it harder. Okay. All right. Just kind of for fun, because they've been so good, why don't we do just a large group game activity? I missed out on a bunch of the stuff I wanted to do, but that always happens. So we'll play a little game, and we'll call it Chicago Free Ball. It's part of the family of cardio games, but it's also a grade 10 and under game. And you can play it on the red court, you can play it on the orange court, the green court, the yellow court, wherever. So you guys want to be champions? Everybody else come on over and be challengers on this side. Go. Now, this is one of the few games where, to be able to control the environment, I might choose to feed it. Emma, go to the other side. You'll be on the other, over there. Yeah. Okay, so we don't have a 60-foot line, so let's use all the space. No, you got to run, okay? What the heck? Joel can do it. Set it back there. So in Chicago football, the emphasis is on this team over there winning 2 out of 3 shots to knock out the champion. So they got to win 2 out of 3 to knock out the champion. And the reason I like to feed it is I like to control who gets over here. And I can do that through my feed without them knowing about it. Okay, the first point is an approach point. It's doubles. You both come in. After the first point, you have to touch the cone. Then protect the middle. The second ball will be down the middle. The third point, you touch the net, and then it'll be an overhead. If you get to a third point, you got to win 2 out of 3 to come over. Ready, go. Come on into the team. Rip it, Noah. Go at it. Come on. You guys are too nice to each other. This could last a long time. Don't be so nice. Yeah, touch the cone, touch the cone, touch the cone. And I'll try to feed to that side over there. Okay, touch the net. It's 1 point each. And then I'll go to this side here. So. Yeah! Oh! Okay, new champions. Come on over. Go, go, go. Quickly, go, go, go. So I feed it early to put them into the stress of getting over. Touch the cone. And watch the middle. New champions, go. That's your go. Round 1, round 2, and the ball's in. We always produce a little bit of stress. Right. Let's go. Out, touch it in. And 2 points, so come on over. And well, that's it. You better hustle, yeah. Right, let's go. Yeah, go. Right, come on over. 2 newbies, go, 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 go. So you see, I control the feed, so I control the outcome. Good shot and good get.
Done with it?
Yeah.
Let's go. Time out, everybody. Okay. Everybody, come on into the net. Let's go. So, in terms of, that's an example, simple example of what I might do late in the practice, okay? Yesterday was offense, defense with the kids. So all it took was 1 point to get to the other side. You scored points on one end, but it's all about the doubles. And I got to feed to make sure there's an equitable distribution. And I try to always balance the teams. So if I've got a yellow ball player playing with a young player, then if that's the best player, I'll team them up like that. We'll play the orange ball, something that allows them all to be able to participate and work together. I'll control the space. Sometimes I'll say, you play the orange doubles, meaning inside of the single sideline. But usually I'll use more space because I want so much transition. So I'll extend the 60-foot baseline to the 78 feet. Anyway, you guys are great. All the participants, let's thank them for their help with this. And we're pretty well done, but if there's anything that came out of this part of it that you'd like to ask, I'm sure they'd honor me with a minute. Any questions at all on something?
How do you manage, let's say you have a 8-member little group and you have the kids that come often, so they're going to be a little more experienced than the ones that are kind of new, and sometimes you don't have the flexibility of having another pro to help you with the ones that really have no idea, even how to run the ball.
So Carmen is asking, and this is the biggest challenge we all have, so it's not unique to Carmen or to myself. I'm sure you all suffer it. What happens when, let's say you've got a group of 6, 7, 8-year-olds that have been coming, they've done a couple of sessions with you. They're not necessarily great players, but they've got the routines, they're successful, they can do it, and then you have new kids join the group, okay? I could easily say a simple word, suffer. But in a sense, I'm being honest with that. I will integrate, but I need the other kids, I need the veterans to help me. And it's harder to get a 6 and 7-year-old to understand. If I got a 10, 11, 12-year-old, they can be much more understanding. But unless your program is large enough, we never had a problem in Chicago because we always had like a beginner red level, an intermediate red level, an advanced red level. So we had the different groups so we could direct the families to them. Sometimes the families say, well, I can't come on Tuesday and Thursday. That's when the beginner group, I can only come on Wednesday. So sometimes we need humble pie because I never want to say no to a child, but I don't want to hurt the program by putting a child in a group that the instructor then is challenged to be able to keep the engagement going and everything. But it's amazing how kids will catch up if we give them a chance. So again, I always default to try to incorporate them, try to bring them in to the program. And I've told parents, I said, look, I'm not an advocate of private lessons, but if you want to get your child ready for that, just the terminology and the sense of things so they feel better, why don't we sign up with Carmen and do a little 30-minute lesson just so that she can get that child comfortable so they'll integrate into the group a little bit quicker. So it's not like a private lesson to teach privates, it's more to raise the comfort level of the child when they do come into the program. Anything else? Everybody, thanks so much for your attention. Really, really kind.